Welcome back to Absolutely the Best Podcast, a work in progress. I'm Zach, and with me today is my good friend George.
Hello.
And also with us today from the Blue and the Others podcast, it's the one and only Blue Williams.
Yeah, that's the lesser known name of the podcast that the people in the know, that's what they refer to it as.
That's an inside joke for the Gamers Week podcast listeners, which is Blue's podcast and the other guy's podcast.
Yeah, two other guys. They just show up to fill like the screen space, but yeah.
This is Series 2, Episode 6. This is our MCU Adjacent series, so there will be at least one tie into that franchise. Today we are talking about The Mummy from May 6th, 1999. We don't have a ranking system for Series 2, but after we discuss the movie, we will give our ratings and whether or not it's absolutely one of the best movies. As a reminder, we assume the listener has seen the movie before, and of course, there will be spoilers. So, who wants to start with movie memories? And you know what? I think I will start on movie memories because I have the least, have the most recent, I should say.
So was this really your first time watching it?
I never saw it before.
Right?
I've seen clips here and there. I'm trying to think of what clip I might have even seen. I was aware of it. It didn't seem like my kind of movie.
I knew you.
See,
mystery wrapped in a riddle.
When Zach invited me on the show and he's like, here's a short list of movies, which ones do you want to do? I immediately zeroed in on The Mummy because I knew he hadn't seen it, and that would give us all a chance to rectify this long-standing wrong.
Right.
Oh, I've been rectifying that, except I've been rectifying it with movies I knew he would hate.
Yes. This, I will say that I do like this more than Meet Joe Black.
That's a very low bar.
Ouch. Well, I mean, to be fair, I liked it before I rewatched it.
Oh, Meet Joe Black? Yeah. I mean, well, mission accomplished for me then. I made you dislike a movie. So, regarding The Mummy, I had never seen it before. I ended up buying it. I was like, it was $5, maybe 10, and I wanted the commentary, and it turns out that there's 3 commentaries, and I ended up watching all 3 after watching the movie by itself, of course. First one is writer-director Stephen Sommers with editor Bob Duxey. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. The second commentary is just Brendan Fraser. And I found him to be very charming and soft-spoken. He was often snickering at his own comments, and I really, really enjoyed that one. Not that I didn't enjoy the first one, but I feel like if you're going to only watch one commentary, that's the one to do it with. And the third commentary has Oded Fair, who's that like head magi guy, who's
the Guardian guy.
Yeah, easy on the eyes. Kevin J. O'Connor, who is Benny, and Arnold Vosloo, who is the Mummy or Imhotep. And I didn't pay too close attention to that one because at that point I was rushing to get this done because we had to accelerate our timeline for the podcast. So I was trying to get some work done. Yes. But I enjoyed all 4 viewings that I had of it. What about you, Blue? You want to go next?
Yeah. So this movie came out, as you said, in 1999. And 1999 was such a banner year for movie releases. It was Fight Club, Matrix, American Beauty, Eyes Wide Shut, Sixth Sense, being John Malkovich, Office Space, Boondock Saints. Like the movies of 1999 are what inspired me to go to film school. And then on top of that absolutely killer lineup, we got The Mummy, which is a remake of the original black and white Mummy from the 1930s. And immediately I could see that, because the rest of these movies are all very artsy. Like there's some action and adventure, but really it's the year had the flavor of more high cinema, all very, cerebral type stuff. This was a movie that knew what it was. It was a classic, old school adventure movie with a few horror elements. And you mentioned director Stephen Sommers. It was originally supposed to be directed by Clive Barker. And then, can you imagine Clive Barker doing this movie?
Whoa, really?
I got to interrupt. You were killing me because I had this whole trivia quiz at the end and you know all the answers. So.
I told you I love
It's
this
like,
movie.
you've already ruined a couple of questions for me.
My
We might
bad.
be skipping that.
My
No,
bad.
that's fine. No, no, keep
I
going.
And,
I was actually sitting here going, I wish I'd gone first because I don't know how to follow this.
That's fine. Like, I also saw it.
I'm sorry, I just swooped in and decided to ruin your whole flow of your show. But then, Clive Barker backed out, and it was gonna be George Romero next, which again, can you imagine George Romero doing this movie? It would have been completely different. And then finally, they settled on Stephen Sommers, who seemed to have like the clearest vision for let's go ahead and make this in the classic movie monster style. Lots of humor, some slapstick, some of those old school camera tricks to where you can show violence, but not really because it's still PG-13. And I think if this movie had been directed by those other directors, we probably wouldn't know about it much today. But because it's was done in a style that pretty much people of all ages can enjoy. I think it's gone on to have a much greater legacy. They're giving looks. They're giving looks. We'll see.
I don't know. I just don't like to show my cards so early. So,
Mm.
what was I gonna say?
Your
So I
poker face
hadn't.
needs some work then.
Of course, I know. And you said that George Romero had it after Clive Barker. I had seen that it was in George Romero's hands first, and then Clive Barker, and I feel like somebody else, and then it went back to George Romero again.
It could be.
I don't know. That was Wikipedia, so who knows?
Who knows? Those guys were attached at one point though.
Right, right. So I'm down to like 4 questions now on my quiz.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I just give you the points. George, what about you?
Yeah, I was just kind of sitting here going, I really don't know how to follow that up, Blue. But that was mind blowing because I had no idea that Clive Barker and George Romero were attached to this before this. My earliest memories of this movie, I don't think I saw it in the theaters, but probably it was a blockbuster night. I just remember enjoying it a lot at a very superficial level. It was just fun. Um, I remember Brendan Fraser being great. Actually, I just remember this whole cast being great. It's really to me Brendan Fraser not going on to just leading more movies and just being like a bigger star was a little bit of a travesty. I remember liking him in that one movie with Joe Pesci, the Harvard movie.
Oh,
Can't
yeah, yeah,
remember
yeah.
that. I really enjoyed that movie too. So part of me just kind of boggles my mind that he didn't go on to be a bigger star. Like Rachel Weisz, I think blew up after this movie too. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know if I've ever seen that Benny guy in a lot of things, but I remember going like, oh yeah, this Benny guy is hilarious in this movie. Uh, so I really enjoyed watching it again. So thanks for not ever having watched it, Zach, because
Sure, sure.
it wasn't on my list of
Anytime.
movies to rewatch, but it was fun seeing it again.
I had a lot of people giving me a hard time about never having seen it and swearing that I would love it. Well, maybe they said I would at least like it. So
Oh, did you at least like it?
I did at least like it. I will tell you that much.
You know what? I'll take it.
Yeah.
I would watch it again. I probably will watch it again. That's the show. Let's talk about let's talk about who made it. It was written and directed by Stephen Sommers, but also written by Lloyd Fonville and Kevin Jarre. Stephen Sommers did, that I know of, Deep Rising, which had that guy Benny in it, Kevin J. O'Connell. I really liked him in that. He also did Odd Thomas, and those are 2 of my favorites that he's done. He wrote and directed both of those. Those are both MCU adjacent, by the way. We can cover those someday. Lloyd Fonville, I don't know anything that guy did. He's got a list of credits, but I wasn't familiar with any of them. So I'm sorry, I don't have anything to say about him. And Kevin Jarre, he wrote Tombstone and had started directing it and was fired after a month for just being consistently behind schedule all the time.
Ooh.
So,
But
I mean,
his
it
script
worked out.
stayed. His script
Yeah,
was
yeah,
what they
yeah.
worked
I
with.
mean, they
Oh
had
wow,
started the movie. The script is what was greenlit, so
yeah,
they just
that was a great movie.
pulled in a different director. Yeah, I think if I recall correctly, too, I think during that first month it was kind of Kurt Russell doing the directing because this guy was not great at the job. I may be conflating that with another story, though.
Well, if he made the script, then clearly he was a writer first and director maybe
Right, right.
just a tiny bit.
The Mummy is directed by Stephen Sommers. We talked about him. So the main cast, we have Brendan Fraser as Rick O'Connell. I was not really a huge fan of his before. I didn't dislike him, but I really liked his character in this. And again, I really liked his commentary, and that really won me over. I think just listening to him talk about the movie and what a great time he had making it.
I think that's what's so great about Brendan Fraser is that, like you were saying, George, he really didn't go on to be this super great actor. He was kind of typecast in the 2000s as kind of this, goofball action hero hunk. And so I think when he made his comeback in The Whale, it surprised a lot of people. They're like, "Oh crap, this guy can actually act."
I haven't
But
seen that yet. Is it
um
is it good?
uh it's tough. I'll say
Hmm.
he's fantastic, but I call it an enjoyable movie to watch? No.
Okay.
Oh.
Um, I lost my train of thought there.
Oh, sorry.
He was, picked because he reminded Stephen Sommers of, like, an Errol Flynn type of,
Mhm.
action, but handsome, but also funny. And they originally, I guess, were offering the role to Tom Cruise,
God damn it, Blue.
Oh.
All right, we're not
which
we're not doing this quiz at the end.
which again, Tom Cruise went on to ruin a whole other movie or Mummy movie, so it worked
Right.
out.
Oh, you mean neither of you liked the new one?
It was pretty bad. It was pretty
Yeah,
bad.
it's,
You didn't see
I
it
know
yet,
that
did
comes
you?
as quite as a
I did.
shock, but
I
Oh,
also didn't like it.
okay, yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody liked it.
mm-mm.
Yeah. Yep.
So Rachel Weisz plays Evelyn Carnahan. That's our MCU tie-in, Rachel Weisz. We've discussed her before, but I think it's good casting here. She's great. And Blue, if you had anything you wanted to add about her, go right ahead. You seem to have a lot of notes, which is great. Not a complaint.
Um, the only thing I guess I might add was that her character was inspired by a real life female Egyptologist from the
Oh,
1920s.
I did not know that.
Yeah, a Lady Evelyn Herbert.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Nice. John Hannah plays Jonathan Carnahan, Evie's brother, Evelyn's brother. They call her Evie in the movie. In case you didn't know, you should know that. You should have seen this movie. I could not figure out where this guy was from for the longest time. And it turns out, George, do you know where, do you know this? He's another MCU tie-in, actually.
No. He just has that face. I'm like, I know I've seen this guy
I'd
before.
seen him in something, and I looked at his credits. It wasn't any movie that I had seen him in. So I started looking through his TV credits. He's Holden Radcliffe in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the guy who makes the LMDs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could totally see it now, right?
I yes. I mean, I guess it's not really. I mean, did we ever consider Agents of Shield a type like an actual MCU
I
adjacent
mean, if
type thing?
if any TV show is MCU adjacent, it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because it's got
That's true.
Coulson in it, and the first couple of seasons they tied in, like kind of they slotted in between whatever movie was ending, or they talk about what happened in like the
Oh,
Avengers or whatever, right?
yeah.
So,
Fair.
I don't know. I think you guys are slipping.
yeah, that's assuming that we ever had traction to begin with.
Yeah.
Arnold Vosloo plays Imhotep. He's not in most of the first 2/3 of this movie. I think he's really good in this, but most of the time his character is in a sarcophagus somewhere buried, or he's just doing motion capture. He did do the motion capture for it, by the way, though. I know he did the Darkman sequels, which are not great, and he was Zartan in the G.I. Joe movies, which I did not put that together at all. I think I watched those once and immediately forgot about them. Also, he was in Odd Thomas. He plays Coach Tom Jed, who I'm not sure that is. It was a very small character. But Kevin J. O'Connor plays Benny. I really liked him in Deep Rising. He's also Henry Plainview in There Will Be Blood. His
Mm.
what's the main character's name? Whatever Plainview, Daniel Plainview. It's his brother that he ends up killing, right? Because he's not really sure that it's really his brother. I find him to be kind of an annoying shit here, but he's supposed to be, so he's doing a good job there. But I do like him as an actor in general. Oded Fair plays Ardith Bay. I say Oded Fair, more like Oded Smoking Hot. This guy, where has he been, man? is he almost literally smolders on screen.
Yep. Apparently, legend has it that the character was written to be covered head to toe in tattoos, and
Yes.
Stephen
Really?
Summers said, "No, he's too handsome."
Yes, he's far too handsome for that.
Yeah.
Also, I had no idea what his character's name was until I looked at the credits for this. I don't think they once say our death. He
It was
was
just
like
smoking hot.
yeah,
Mm.
just smoking hot guy.
Name's
Uh,
not important.
yeah, he's like the head of the Magi in 1926 or whenever most of the movie takes place.
I remember him mostly from Resident Evil after this, because he was in
Was
Resident
he
Evil.
in that? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember that movie very well for reasons.
It's yeah, you should probably block out a good chunk of it.
Yes. Eric Avari plays Dr. Terrence Bay. This is the museum curator guy. Don't have much on him. I don't have much on the rest of these guys, but I'm just kind of listing them so we know who we're talking about down the line. So if anybody else has anything they want to say, jump in. Stephen Dunham plays Isaac Henderson. That's I recall him the handsome American. Corey Johnson as David Daniels. I'm pretty sure that's the guy with the glasses. Wasn't clear on that. Tuck Watkins as Bernard Burns. That's the other handsome American. Omid Djali as Warden Gad Hassan. He's obviously the prison warden. And lastly, Patricia Velasquez as Ankh Sunamun. Almost as good looking as Oded Fair. And
That's a 10 and like a 9.8.
yeah. And she played Marta on Arrested Development. That's the only thing I really know her from.
Mm-hmm. The only other thing I really know her from is what's the name of the movie? I think it's called Mine Hunters. It's one of the last movies that and my mind just blanks, but Iceman in Top Gun.
Oh, Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer's one of Val Kilmer's last movies.
Huh.
Ah,
What's it called?
I think it's called Mine Hunters.
I don't know. I don't think I've seen it.
It's
Was it
like
good?
he was very restricted at that point, but it's something like it's a class of like top level psych students. They're all like psychology FBI students. They're going to do a field exercise at an abandoned island, and it turns out it was a trap the whole time by some serial killer.
That does sound familiar. I feel like I might have seen it.
Yeah.
was it good? That sounds like an interesting premise.
It sounds bad.
Really?
I would give
mean-
it a D a D plus. It's been a long
Oh, so
time.
it was bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
Hopefully it's not MCU adjacent and George can't make me watch it. So let's get into the main discussion. It's 1290 BC or BCE for us heathens. Right off the bat, this movie has a cool crossfade. From the universal Earth logo to the sun above the pyramid in the desert. I really like that. I'm pretty sure that whole scene is a matte painting. And I'm pretty sure that was confirmed in the commentary. They said it was ILM. It was a bunch of composite shots. It looks fake, but it looks really cool. Like it's cool fake. So I like that. So
Mhm.
off to a good start. So the setup here is that the high priest Imhotep has been banging the pharaoh's lady, Ankh-Sunamun, and she comes strutting into the room wearing mostly body paint to meet up with Imhotep. This is where I had to take my first break.
For reasons or
So I don't know about you
like,
guys, but I
why?
wasn't aware that they had pasties in ancient Egypt.
probably if it was not PG-13, then the pasties would not have existed in ancient Egypt.
Yes, right.
Yes.
And I was actually watching on my phone at first, and I was like, "Are they showing boobs in this movie?" And then I went back and looked on a bigger screen later. I was like, "Oh no, it's pasties."
He got as big a screen as he could find just to
That's
check,
right.
to be
I
really
wonder what
thorough.
his sanity's place. To use his big TV.
Right.
The pharaoh shows up with his perfectly circular chin beard and catches them hooking up. But ancient plot twist: Imhotep's guys kill the pharaoh. I thought that the pharaoh was going to have all his guys capture Imhotep and Ankh-Sunamun. That's a hard name for me to remember and pronounce. It's not happily ever after, though, because the pharaoh's guards break in to get Imhotep and Ankh-Sunamun. She begs Imhotep to run and save himself so he can resurrect her. # relationship goals. I thought this was interesting. at first he refuses to leave her, but then he doesn't put up a fight when his guys escort him away. Right? So it's like, all right, yeah, I guess it's just for show. I don't know.
The plot needs to happen, Zach.
Yeah, good point. And
And
along those
also,
lines,
he knows she's right. She says, "You're the only one who can resurrect me, so you have to go. Otherwise, we'll
right.
both die." And he
Okay,
knows
that's
she's
fair.
right.
Yeah.
But
But why didn't they just take her with him?
yeah, I think that was one of my first pauses rewatching this. I was like, wait, why doesn't she just run away with him?
Right?
But to your point, the plot must go on.
The plot
Right.
must go on, okay?
Wouldn't have been much of a movie. I think we're going to say that a lot here.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Probably.
she kills herself, which didn't make sense to me. She says, "My body is no longer his temple," and then stabs herself in the gut. But the pharaoh was already dead, so that problem was already solved, right?
Well, whoever is next in line, I mean, they can't just allow people to kill the
Okay.
pharaoh, there will be consequences.
So yeah, I guess that was my rebuttal to myself. I guess was like maybe she feared a worse fate than
Yeah,
dying by stabbing yourself in the gut,
I mean,
which sounds
considering what
awful.
happened to everybody else, I think she took
Yeah,
a
made the right
nice,
choice.
pleasant way out, but, like, back in those societies, the pharaoh was considered God, so you don't
Right.
just kill God and get away with it.
Okay, fair enough. Imhotep and his crew end up taking her body from the crypt, kind of yucky, and he's going to resurrect her. A lot of this is voiceover by Oded Fair, by the way. He says that her organs were removed before burial, which that reminded me of an old Tales from the Crypt. I don't know if you guys ever watched that show when you were younger, but there's one where somebody's got wishy power or something, and
Wishy
it's at
power.
their don't you wish you had wishy power? And they
I'd
were
call it
at
something else. That'd be my first wish was I wish it was called something else.
well, that's an easy fix. So it's at like their grandfather's or father's funeral or something like that, and they wish for him to be back alive, and it works, except that he's been embalmed and he just like is screaming in agony the whole time. So
Whoa.
that's yeah, right. Because that's what this reminded me of. They're like, Oded Fair's like her organs were removed, and now he's going to bring her back to life. I don't know how that's going to work, but so anyways, he's doing the resurrection spell, and then a spoopy CGI spirit flies in. It looks bad, but it kind of worked for me. And unfortunately, Pharaoh's bodyguards interfere, and the ritual is incomplete. They end up mummifying all of Imhotep's priests alive, though I don't really think they made it past the point where your brains are scooped out through your nose.
Not likely. And I was thinking that's such a shit job. Like, you gotta be mummified alive because your boss wants to get laid. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
that's not, yeah,
I'd have my resume ready before that, I think.
yeah.
Religious cults, man.
There you go. There you go.
I'm not sure that was worth it.
So Imhotep has his tongue cut out. That reminded me of another thing I saw way too young. Did anybody ever see Mark of the Devil? It's like an old, like 1970
I don't
movie
think
about
so.
witches. They like pull somebody's tongue out. It was a lot more graphic in that than here. Then Imhotep is actually mummified alive. They don't scoop his brains out, and they cover him in CGI scarabs before being sealed in a sarcophagus. Undead for all eternity because of some spell that they put on him. And these guys need better shovels. It's going to take an eternity to fill that grave in. Do you remember that? There were like these tiny little scoops on the end of these sticks. It looks like almost like a field hockey stick. I don't know. They didn't have better technology than that. They
That's an
built
interesting
pyramids.
detail to notice, the
I
size
don't
of
know.
the shovels.
That's how I work.
We get caught up in like a lot of those details.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes for a long time. We can move on from shovels now, though. I thought this was a solid opening, and I was in. But here's my problem. In the VO, he says that the Magi would never allow him to be released, for he would arise a walking disease, a plague upon mankind, an unholy flesh eater with the strength of ages, power over the sands, and the glory of invincibility. So if he were ever to get out, he'd be an invincible supervillain, which seems like a bad gamble.
Unless
And
you're
for
Catwoman.
what? Unless you're and for what though? Like to avenge the death of a guy who is probably a dick to them all. Like I don't know. They could have just tortured him to death or something. I don't. It seems like a bad gamble, and it doesn't pay off.
I've heard theories because that's a common complaint is like if you knew he was going to be so dangerous, why would you even do this curse? And then I saw a theory where it's well because he was the high priest, he knew obviously how to bring people back from the dead, so they had to do something extra powered to make sure he stayed dead. Otherwise, he would just keep
Oh, they
bringing
were, like,
himself
afraid that
back.
he would bring himself back?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess this is ancient Egypt, they weren't
I'll
the
allow it.
smartest. But that was the words I was looking for, thank you. So, now there's a pretty cool statue weathering over time effect that, brings us into 1923. The Magi, the descendants of the Pharaoh's guards, are watching a bunch of dummies go into war in the desert, apparently right over the resting place of Imhotep. Poor choice of words, he probably wasn't really at rest. Rick and Benny are amongst the dummies fighting it out, and immediately you know that Benny is going to betray Rick. He just has that look,
It's just one of those guys I don't know that you would ever nominate him to be your right-hand person.
right?
No.
I think it was who he got to go with him.
It's a
Yeah.
it's a
There was a lot to pick from.
it's a perfect character introduction because you think about within 30
Yeah,
seconds, you see Benny's sense of humor when he says, "Oh, looks like you just got promoted," when the captain runs off. So he says that to
right.
Rick.
That's right.
Then Rick says, "You're with me, right, Benny?" And he says, "Oh, your strength gives me strength." So he's an ass kisser. And then
And
about
a liar.
yeah, 2 seconds after that, he goes, "Nope," throws down his gun, which I don't know why you wouldn't just take the gun with you, but he throws it down, and then he abandons everyone, and he closes the door to save his own skin when Rick is trying to escape as well. So within 30 seconds, we know exactly who Benny is and what role he's gonna serve in this movie. It's a great introduction.
I agree.
1000%.
Yeah. So yeah, Benny hides in the tomb, ditching Rick. Rick gets cornered, and just as he's about to get got, Imhotep intervenes with some sand magic, chasing off Rick's would-be assailants. He doesn't need to be dug up or anything. He can just do that from the sarcophagus. Like, why can't he use his power to set himself free at that point?
I think
Or
it's
can he
just
only manipulate a bit of sand?
curse angst at that point, just residual curse angst.
He's having cursed performance issues.
Yeah, yeah.
And now we move to Cairo 3 years later at the Museum of Antiquities, where Rachel Weisz is the librarian Evie. And the movie almost lost me here. I'm not going to lie. This bothered me. The, the whole, I will say though, Blue, when you were talking earlier about the
Uh-huh.
slapstickiness of it, you kind of brought me around a bit on it. But this
Yeah.
was like, I was put off a little bit here.
No,
And that,
I know exactly what you're saying. Because, I mean, the setup of the scene in the rest of the movie, it's slapstick, but it's not slapstick for slapstick's sake, right? It's just used
perfect. Yes,
to
exactly.
give an extra layer to anything else that's going on. This is the only scene in the whole movie where it's slapstick just purely to be slapstick. And so you've got Rachel Weisz, she's up high on a ladder putting away books, and immediately you know that she's super intelligent. She's a super nerd, and then she somehow manages to fall off the ladder and causes like all of these bookshelves to domino into each other and crash. And then
Yep.
she's left there in the middle going, oops. I mean, it's,
Did I do that?
yeah, did I do that? Every other character gets a much better introduction. Still in this one, within 20 seconds, you know who she is, what kind of character she is. So I'll give them that. But I will say it is the weakest character introduction in the whole movie. But to give you a little more appreciation for this, I don't know if you know this, they used over 1,000 books in that scene, and they had one take to get it right.
Yes, I knew about the one take.
Yeah,
Wow.
one single
Uh,
take
yeah,
with one camera in the middle to get
yeah.
it right. And so as much as I think that scene sticks out in a bad way in the rest of the movie, that helps me appreciate it more.
Yeah, so that was the other thing was in the commentary they talked about how they did that, and it's a stunt woman on the ladder. She falls down, the bookcases start to fall over. Also, it didn't occur to me that this was done practically, and like once I learned that, I was like, "Oh, well, I do have a little more appreciation for a practical
Yeah.
gag here." But you know, the camera pans and the stunt person is out of frame, and the whole time Rachel Weisz has been ducking down in front of the camera, and then when the last one falls over, she just like pops up. So I like that part of the commentary. That's what I like to hear in a commentary, and it did
Mhm.
make me appreciate that a little more. But following up on something that you said about her being kind of clumsy, doesn't happen in the rest of the movie. She's totally normal the rest of the movie, which is fine. I don't. It's not a complaint. I just, once again, like, what was the purpose of this scene? Because it kind of establishes her as a klutz, and she's not.
I don't know, I think she's a klutz in that she is more driven by her curiosity than anything else, which
For
causes
sure.
problems. Even if
Yeah.
she's not necessarily falling over her own feet when she does it, it's like, if you stop to think 2 seconds, this is a bad idea, but she never stops to think. She just
It
does.
reminds me of
Yes, she does make some bad decisions without thinking.
you like when she starts reading from the book without like, oh,
Yes,
without thinking
precisely.
Mhm.
Yep.
later down the yeah.
So of course the curator is mad. Then there's the part where her bigger brother Jonathan pranks her with the skeleton and the sarcophagus. Nice touch, I thought, where he's talking to her and chokes on his words as he's getting out because he hits his balls on the, the edge of the coffin. It was good acting, or
Maybe it
maybe it
wasn't
wasn't
acting.
acting.
He was a professional, just keep going.
Yeah. Yep. Wait until the director says cut. Did either of you think that he was drunk
That's
when he first
honestly
shows up?
always been my impression, was that he was drunk in that scene.
Right. Like he seemed super drunk, but just for a bit. And then in the commentary, Blue, you need to watch the commentaries. In the commentary, he was supposed to be drunk. And then
Really?
like practically halfway through the scene, the director decided he didn't like that and changed it up.
I thought he was just
So
being goofy the whole time and
yeah. Well,
wanting to
the
prank
rest of
his
the time
sister.
he is just kind of goofy. And I like him a lot. I liked his character a
Yeah.
lot. But I thought, yeah, he started off like a drunk and he also seemed really shady. And I'm not saying that he's not shady, but he was super likable through the rest of the movie. So
Mhm.
I thought he was going to be annoying and he was going to be like the obvious bad guy, basically, like would turn on them. Um,
No, I always just thought he was a very functional drunk. So the only
yeah,
time
right,
you really notice it is when he's trying to get out of the sarcophagus, but other than that, he's able to hide it because he's just constantly drunk.
right. So he's talking to Evie, and he brought her an octagonal lament configuration box from a dig that he was at in Thebes. Spoiler alert: he's lying. I'm joking about the Hellraiser thing, but it's not a lot better because it's clearly a key to Imhotep's coffin sarcophagus. He also has a map that they showed to the curator, which leads to Hamunaptra, which, according to legend, is full of treasure and protected by a mummy's curse. The curator does a poor job of pretending to accidentally burn the map on a candle. Only part of it gets burned, but it's the most important part, which is the location of the lost city.
I mean, his employee did knock over all the shelves. And didn't get fired, so it stands that maybe he's also just as clumsy as she is.
Could be.
So,
You know?
Also, the scene does a
go ahead,
really
Blue.
good job of redirecting your attention. It's only on rewatches where you're looking for it that you know that you can see he does it on purpose.
Oh, I thought it was obvious the first time I saw it. I'm
But
just
you're
that good.
fixating on shovels, so
See, it pays. It pays to pay attention to detail.
the average person doesn't see it
Yeah,
until a rewatch.
Zach's also the guy that sees a timer going on in one part of the movie and actually times the how long it takes to get to that point and to see if the events actually match.
because it
So,
shouldn't take a minute to go for the last 10 seconds. If you're going to put a
yeah.
timer in, make it realistic.
Yep.
Yes, hyper
So,
realism in our superhero movies.
yeah, well, I wouldn't even like superhero movies if I shouldn't like superhero movies. That's my whole conceit for the show is like, this should be dumb. I should not like this.
Fair enough.
Uh, so in the commentary here, they said, or not here, but later on, but it's relevant to the scene. They said that there's a cut scene where the Magi meet with the curator so that you know that they're in cahoots, and that's why he tried to burn the map.
I like it better this way.
Yeah, I think that was a good cut.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't think we needed it. It's obvious later, so
yeah.
I'm
It's a
fine with the cut.
good
But
cut.
yeah. So it turns out that Jonathan really stole the map and the box off of Rick, who's in Cairo prison. Specifically, he pickpocketed it off of him. Rick's locked up in Cairo prison for some reason. They don't really say why,
He
just
had a
something
very
about,
good time.
yes, he had a very good time. So I figured he banged somebody's wife or daughter that he wasn't supposed to. They go to speak with him. Presumably, he would know where Hamunaptra is since he had the map. And Rick's kind of a jerk, but in a really likable way. I kind of want him to neg me. He also looks like Encino Man here with the long hair.
Mhm.
By the way, did you know that tangent here? Did you know that there's an Encino Woman sequel to Encino Man?
I imagine there's
I
a
have no idea.
reason we don't know that.
There is a reason we don't know
Uh,
that because nobody involved in the first one was in it. I feel like it's in a sequel in name only, and it seems actually kind of like they just copied the plot of the first one. But
Probably straight to video?
I believe so. I believe that
Yep.
is correct. So they talked to Rick about the box. He says he was there at Hamanoptera when he found it. He can take them there if they can get him out of prison. P.S. He's about to be hung.
wait, so the key was just laying around somewhere? Anyone could find it?
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't show him find it, but also sometimes I don't like it when they show you the really obvious stuff. Like
Yeah. Well, because his battalion or army or whatever you wanna call it, his group, they were already at Hamunaptra and then defending
probably
the
camped out.
position. So we don't know how long they were there. It's
Yeah.
completely feasible. They were doing some digging around for treasure beforehand.
George, you don't need to get hung up on these little details.
I'm sorry. Habit.
I'm totally joking.
Wait till I start wondering about how you travel from one end to the other with via tornado portal or sandstorm portal.
Wow, I didn't even have that gripe. So now it's the hanging, public execution style. I have a hanging gripe. He gets dropped like 10 feet, like you would in a real hanging, and that's supposed to snap your neck, so you're not thrashing about and you die quickly, right? But he doesn't. His neck doesn't break.
Did you read
So
that he actually almost died because of this stunt?
very good, George. That
Oh,
is,
okay.
I did. No, that was my my notes. Yeah, he was. I think it was the first day of shooting or one of the first days of shooting, and he told the stunt coordinators to make the rope really tight because he wants it to look real. And then it was too tight, and he passed out.
Did they invent stunt doubles after this? Like, why
I think it was
was
just
he?
for the close-up shots because, like, why else would you
Oh,
want it that tight, right?
yeah.
So, like, I think the actual fall was not him, and obviously that's not like the weight's not going on that person's neck. It's got to be some kind of a harness.
It's
But
like, these serious actors, they wanna do it right. It's like, you ever hear about Carrie Ewells in Princess Bride? So
Carrie Ewells,
Ewells,
Is that
I
how
don't
you
know how
say
you
his
say
name?
his last name.
I thought it was
Elways.
Eloise.
Elwes?
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
okay, well,
Eloise. Yeah.
Carrie Elwes then, the scene where the six-fingered man bonks him on the head with the sword,
Yes.
and, the hilt of his sword. Apparently, right before they shot the scene, Carrie says, "Hit me for real." And they're like, "Okay." So he hits him for real, and it actually knocks him out, and that's the take they use in the movie.
Oh
Oh
wow.
wow! I did not
I don't
know
think I
that
knew that.
either.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. I thought you were gonna just tell me he got his head cut or something, but wow,
Nope.
knocked out.
Nope.
Wow, it's very convincing.
I've loved that movie for ages and didn't know that.
I don't know if I've seen that. Is there a commentary for that? I feel like I haven't watched that with
Oh, I'm sure
commentary.
there is.
I need to. I was talking about that on games my mom found recently.
There's,
Great movie, holds up.
serious actors wanting to do it for real, as close to for real as they can to their own
I want to get
detriment.
I want to get hurt real bad doing
Yep.
my job.
Everybody wants to be Jackie Chan.
Yes. Yeah, that guy gets hurt a lot. So before Rick strangles to death, Evie talks the warden into cutting Rick free for 25% of the take in Hamanoptera. That is a hard word to say. This is where they had the cutscene of the curator talking to the Magi. And also there was another cutscene here where Benny is talking to the Americans. I guess he gets recruited by the Americans here, but we don't need any of that. We can figure it out.
Mhm.
Later, or maybe the next day, I'm not sure, Evie and Jonathan meet Rick at Giza Port. Evie's bad-mouthing Rick on the way there, saying he's a scoundrel and all that. And I thought for sure that they would bone before the movie was over at that point.
Still PG-13.
Yeah. I thought there'd at least be some over-the-pants hand stuff.
Still PG-13.
You can't do that even?
I
They
don't
do that in The Mummy 1.5.
So Rick's all cleaned up, looking like a snack. The warden shows up too. No surprise there. They all get on a boat and go down the Nile River, I think, if my geography is correct. After dark, Rick and Evie get to know each other a bit for the purposes of movie exposition. She's hoping to find the Golden Book of Amun-Ra. And it also turns out that Benny is aboard too, leading the Americans to Hamunaptra as well, which Rick is none too pleased with. They chat for a bit before Rick throws him overboard. That was pretty funny. I have to assume that he quickly swam to shore and then ran alongside the boat because he shows up later when they all have to evacuate the boat. Some Magi sneak aboard and try to take the map and key from Evelyn. I presume that they found that out from the museum curator. He must have told them where they were going to be.
She probably had to ask for time off work.
Yep, fair point. Rick saves Evie, but her room catches fire in the melee, and with the map still inside. But no worries, it's all in Rick's head. I really like that line. He's dragging her out of the room. He's like, "Relax, I'm the map. It's all up here."
Yep.
That's a good line. Pretty soon, the whole boat catches fire, and there's a pretty good shootout. Evie goes overboard, and the warden asks Rick, "What are we gonna do?" And he tells him to wait here. I'll go get help, and then he jumps overboard. That's another good part.
That was pretty funny.
So the warden and eventually Jonathan also jump off the boat. And it's a pretty narrow river, I guess, because shore is right there. And pretty much everybody left alive, including the horses, get to shore. No problem. Even Benny.
You can also yell across the river.
Yes, well, that's what
But
to communicate.
It's not so narrow that you can't just take the horses across.
Exactly. Yeah, so Benny's on one side with all the horses, but he's on the wrong side of the river. The next morning, they get some clothes, supplies, and camels for some town or some village, and they spend all day trekking across the desert just to find the blue camera lens to pretend that it's nighttime. This is some of the worst fake day for night that I've ever seen in a movie.
Is that really how they did it?
Yeah, it's just like a blue lens.
Oh, wow.
It's called day for night. It's horrible. It never works. This is really bad. They just had a night scene. They could have done it. I don't understand.
Yeah, but the light would be all wrong if it was actually dark and they were trying to light that scene.
I guess. I don't know. I feel like it bothers me. That's all. I have no choice but to move on. I guess they keep riding all night, and the next day they run into Benny and the Americans, and as the sun rises, Hamunaptra is revealed like a mirage. I thought that was a really good effect for a 1999 movie. I mean, even for a movie today, I thought it was very convincing. I'm not sure how they did it. They didn't say anything in the commentary about it. Everyone races over there and gets straight to work. Rick's team goes down inside a crypt. I don't know why the Americans just didn't follow them down. There's no honor among thieves, right? But they end up finding their own entrance.
Because they're led by a woman. What does a woman know?
That's actually
probably a good point.
I don't agree with it, but I understand.
In 1920s.
In 1926 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we have this? We had the same argument about Meet Joe Black, didn't we? Not argument.
But how it was written by three men, and we're like, no wonder no wonder a woman would be like, that was great sex, when it was his first time ever and it was just straight missionary for 10 seconds.
Yes. And I was like, so much more of this movie makes sense now that you pointed out.
Or maybe, they know something about it, because, most women would be like, oh no, sweetie, it's okay. That was great.
Maybe that's all they've ever heard. Yeah. I think we said what she should have said was, that was nice. So anyways, listen to the Meet Joe Black episode. So I had a real problem with the scene where Evie lights up the inside of the tomb with the ancient Egyptian mirrors with the sunlight from outside.
Isn't that how you powered your house?
Well, it's not the fact that they use light. That's fine. But I'm unreasonably bothered by the fact that you can see each mirror light up in sequence over, a distance in which light is traveling virtually instantaneously. That just so irritated me. And then it's like really bright for a second and then dims a little bit, like it's a light turning on and dimming, like a light bulb. I don't know. It was especially bothersome because that they spent money on doing that effect. Because if they just did it for real, it would have looked normal and it wouldn't have bothered me.
But it would also look like shit. The magic wouldn't have been there.
I don't know. I don't like
magic. Think about trying to light those stone underground areas. What a nightmare to have it look at least somewhat natural. But in reality, if it was lit just by that light, you wouldn't be able to see shit.
Yeah,
I've
okay. That's fair.
I've got a ring that if you spin it around with hand motions enough, it'll make a portal.
Right. Uh, so, okay, here, I'll explain it to myself, I guess. The mummy's curse has slowed light down
There you go.
so you can see it happening. So they bump into the Americans down there and agree to share the dig site, kind of. Then Rick and his crew they go elsewhere and they dig up, like knocking down support beams, which seems like a wildly stupid idea. The warden wanders off on his own, finds some treasure, he pries some scarab decorations off of a stone. In Brendan Fraser's commentary here, he says, I don't know if this is true or not. I tried to look into it. It was not easy. He says that the hieroglyphics say, look, don't touch, which would explain what happens to the
Oh,
warden. But I don't know. He could have just been making that up. I'm not really sure. I was like trying to look up hieroglyphics. I'm going to stop talking now.
You know what? I'll
hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics.
I'll allow it again because on the one hand, you think that a guy who lived in Egypt might be able to read that and see the warning, but he came across as like an uneducated idiot. So maybe,
They were
mm,
also very
That's fair.
shiny.
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, yeah,
he
he
didn't
was
even
probably
see the words.
fixated, eyes on the prize, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Americans find a large vault and have their hired hands pry it open. And those guys get sprayed in the face with some ancient Egyptian jizz. Later, Rick
It
says
does
that it
burn.
was, especially if it
Gets
gets
your
in your eyes.
guys, yeah.
later, Rick says it was salt acid that melted their faces off. So minor chemistry gripe. Salt acid is not a thing, but Rick's not a
I was
chemist,
going to
and
ask you that.
it's 1925 or whatever. So I'll let it slide. While that's going on, Rick and the gang drop a sarcophagus out of the ceiling, miraculously not on themselves. Evie seems surprised that someone would be buried under the feet of Anubis, and she says it must have been someone very important or very naughty, which to me are two opposite qualifiers. So I don't know why either one of those would put you under the feet of Anubis, but
What was Anubis in charge of? Was that the god of
I
life or
don't know.
something? Oh.
Fill us in here, Blue.
Hang on. Ancient Egyptian god of mummification, the afterlife, and the dead. So
And the naughty.
somebody, and so somebody who presumably needed watched over in the next life.
Okay. That actually makes sense because you would be, if you're important, you should be watched over. And if you were a bad person, you should be watched over for a different reason.
Mhm.
Right.
All right. I retract my gripe. So it turns out that some real scarabs came out of the decorative ones that the warden was stealing, which would be terrifying if the CGI wasn't so goofy. It's still pretty
It was
unsettling.
good enough for me.
Yeah.
Well,
I
once
mean,
it gets inside of his boot, it's really unsettling because
yeah.
it's like you got to
Yes.
get that out, right?
Yeah, and that's part like if you think about there was a bug really burrowing under your skin, like there would be so much blood everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
You'd very clearly see the path. Like it wouldn't just be scooting along under your skin and you couldn't even
Unless it
see
was
it.
Right.
eating it that fast. Unless it was eating
Shut
it
There'd
up,
still
George.
be blood.
on your way.
But here's
Yeah.
the
That's true
thing.
for sure.
The thing. The CGI from this movie, I always compare CGI from old movies to the first Harry Potter movie when they're flying on the brooms. And it
Okay.
just looks like absolute shit. Like, oh, look, I'm a real boy flopping around like a rag doll. So really, as long as CGI from movies of this era, and I think the first Harry Potter was 2001, but don't quote me on that. But if the CGI from this era is better than Harry Potter flopping around on the broomstick, I'm okay with it.
Fair
When was
enough. Fair
Jurassic?
enough.
Do any of you remember when Jurassic Park was?
Early
93?
90.
Oh, it's
93,
still the
92?
okay. I was gonna say
I don't,
because
yeah.
the CGI here is always the CGI in this movie in general is like just good enough for
93.
me and just wacky enough to just be like, oh yeah, that's bad CGI, but like I'm okay with it. So it didn't really quite bother me as much as I think like some movies where it's just
So I
really
thought the
bad.
scarabs themselves looked bad. And while
Yeah.
once it was under his skin, it didn't look great, it was effective. So
Mhm.
that, like, I was just talking about like when the scarab is chasing him, like that is the fakest looking scarab I've ever seen. Actually, I've never seen a real scarab, so what do I know?
I was more like annoyed at the inconsistency of this of when they use the scarabs. Like when Jonathan sticks his hand in his bag later, like I was totally expecting him to have 3 scarabs crawling under his skin, but it was just he picked up the bottle of wine or whatever it was inside of
The
the
scotch,
warden's
yeah.
bag.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, the one scarab didn't wake up until it hit the ground. So it's something about
right.
the earth of Egypt awakens the slumber of the scarabs.
Right, but
Oh.
then like later because Jonathan also pulls one off the wall and then it opens up in his hand right off the bat.
Mhm.
He probably had
So
sand on his
I thought
hand.
that's what.
Yeah,
Oh,
he had some sand under his fingernails.
fine, I'll allow it.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
I do like the scarabs in general, though. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, they're scary as hell.
A bunch of magi show up on horseback. Everyone shoots it out, and it's a bit chaotic. Rick stops the commotion by lighting some dynamite, which I don't know. I guess that's fine. That didn't quite add up to me, but Ardith, the head magi, played by Hadi Oded Fair, says that that's enough bloodshed. Leave or die. You have one day, which is very nice of him to give them the whole day to clear out. That night, Evie gets plastered and tells Rick her dad was a famous explorer and her mom was Egyptian. So I'm assuming that's why Imhotep is interested in her later because of the bloodline, the
Or it's
Egyptian
just been
part.
a long time.
Why not both?
She looks like she has 0 Egyptian in her.
Well, she doesn't, but
Yes.
Yeah.
maybe she wants a little. I'm a little disappointed in Rick here. He was gonna let her kiss him, and she's completely sauced. Like that was his moment to be a gentleman and politely decline on account of the intoxication and all. But instead, he reciprocates the lean in, but she passes out. It's the next morning, and the Americans are undeterred by the face melting and death threats, so they continue the FAFO process, going back for the treasure they found. One chest says, "Death will come of swift wings to whomsoever opens it. The undead will consummate this curse and take all the organs and flesh from the people who opened it and no longer be undead." They press ahead with that anyway. I don't know. I would heed that warning, especially with all that's been going on. It's at this point that Benny bravely runs away. He's right, though. These other ding dongs still want to open the chest, and as they do, it cuts back to Rick and crew still faffling with the sarcophagus and open it up with the Hellraiser key. I thought it was funny with the line like, "I've never seen a mummy look like that before," and together
The
they're like, "It's so
juicy
juicy."
line. Yeah.
Yes,
Actually, that's a science question for you. Uh, would a would the mummification, what do I call it, straps, bandages, would they just completely disappear too, or
probably. I
decompose
mean,
completely by
it's
then?
just like cloth, right? It's all organic material.
The
I would
bugs
So it's
expect
only
probably
to.
ate
juicy.
it. They weren't
Oh,
discriminatory.
then why is he still? Shouldn't he have just been a bunch of bones that just kept on growing?
He's juicy because he's undead.
Yeah.
So like at that point, there's no science involved at this point.
I know. Maybe I'm just I'm getting hung up on stupid stuff.
Yeah,
Sorry.
because all the other. Go ahead.
I think the coffin that he was in was super airtight, so there was nowhere for the
Oh,
moisture to
that
go.
too. That's a good
Yeah.
point too.
Kept it
There is some
Oh, and
inside.
science involved after all.
Yeah.
yeah, there was the whole thing too that I was wondering, like how, like if he was, I guess he had scratched. The death is only the beginning in the inside of the sarcophagus, right? But like, I don't know that I have any kind of mental capacity to try to scratch anything in the dark while
He had a
Did he
long
scratch
time to
that
being
in?
wait.
eaten.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
He worked on it a long time.
But those
Hmm.
scarabs, they just like ate everybody almost instantaneously, except for like him, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd be in so much pain.
Curse effects.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Inside the chest, the Americans opened is the Book of the Dead and some random treasure. I think it's like vases or whatever that have Imhotep's organs, if I recall correctly.
hmm
After a long day of treasure finding, aka fucking around but not yet finding out, the group gathers outside. Evie tells them about the Hamdai and how horrible their mummy's death must have been. Buried alive and eaten by scarabs. She continues, if a victim of the Hamdai should ever arise, they would bring with them the 10 plagues of Egypt. So once again, that seems like an unnecessary risk to take with the punishment.
But the people who put it on him were long dead, so what do they care?
I guess, yeah, that's like somebody else's problem.
Yeah, that's tomorrow's problem.
Evie sneaks the Book of the Dead and opens it. I thought it was funny when there's the ghostly shriek and gust of wind, and Rick's like, that happens a lot around here. Nobody gets out of there like they should. Side note, I've edited a number of JFCs for my notes in this section. She reads the Book of the Dead out loud, and that reanimates Imhotep. So that's the dumb decision we were talking about, right? This is straight out of the Evil Dead playbook. She done fucked up because immediately we get our first plague of locusts. They swarm the camp and everybody runs inside the tomb. This poor nerd who drops his glasses. He's just like, my glasses, my glasses.
I know.
You just knew he was in for it.
Yeah. My wife can't see without her glasses, and she has dropped them before. I'm like, you got to help me find my glasses. I'm like, they're right there. It just doesn't. I did eventually go over and help her. It just doesn't compute to me how you could not see. The glasses nerd is the mummy's first victim. More on that in a bit. Rick, Evie, and Jonathan get chased by scarabs, and Evie falls through a super obvious trapdoor that Rick and Jonathan can't seem to find. She stumbles onto the nerd who has his eyes and tongue taken out, but he's still alive. A bad choice for the eyes, mummy. Good luck seeing anything.
I wondered that myself. It's like, I probably would have picked different eyes, but maybe he just needed something. Maybe he swapped them
Maybe
out
swap
for the next
later.
guy. Yeah.
Exactly. We don't
Oh,
see that.
I thought he just needed like the base material for his own eyes to
Is it
come
like
back.
Rasputin in Hellboy, or Rasputin in Hellboy, where he doesn't have eyes but he can see, and like he's just got sunglasses on for a while, and then he eventually puts eyes in, but it doesn't matter because he can just see without eyes. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. Okay.
No.
Sorry.
I'm blanking.
That was another Games on Mom Phone podcast. We talked about that. Also, why didn't the mummy take more from this guy? Which he does later, but like, why the wait?
Didn't he get? Oh, he got disturbed because Rick shot him.
Or no,
maybe that was it.
Evelyn
Or-
she goes through the door.
Yeah.
Like maybe he
Okay.
heard her coming, and so he thought, I'll just hide around the corner or something and see who it is. And then he was
Maybe it's a better pair of eyes.
yeah, he was floored by her beauty and
Yes.
forgot about
Well,
glasses guy.
I think it was exactly that. She came in, and then he was like, "Oh shit!" It's for whatever reason, he thought that she was an Oxymoon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then Rick came in and then shot him.
All the Egyptians look the same. I did not care for the way the mummy looked with eyeballs. It was too goofy. Like, I hate it when like a skeleton has eyeballs. It's weird. Predictably, the mummy wants Evie as his princess. Rick and Jonathan find her and the mummy, and Rick blasts it with a shotgun, and they run off, bumping into the Magi who saved the nerd. Then it's a bunch of threats and exposition. Basically, the Magi are going to find a way to kill it, and everyone else should right off. Benny has a run-in with the mummy. Does he do a fake Chinese accent here?
I thought it sounded legit.
Well, I wouldn't have known.
It sounded okay.
I wouldn't have questioned it, except that like he's speaking German or something. And it says like speaks German, and then he's speaking Hindi. It's like speaks Hindi, and then it's like gibberish when he's doing the fake Chinese or whatever it is.
I don't know how authentic everything he was saying was, but this was one of the funnier parts of the movie. He just happened to have every symbol around his neck.
It was funny, but then like it just said gibberish. I'm like, oh,
if you think about it, he as that person probably would have learned the bare minimum of Chinese just to recite that prayer, and was probably half wrong. Like that checks out.
Right. Yep.
So, anyways, the mummy recruits him because he speaks Hebrew, and he needs somebody to translate.
Or he knew 3 phrases of Hebrew or whatever, just enough phrases.
Gets you the job. You lie on your resume, it gets you the job.
Yep. Exactly.
So now we go to Fort Bryden in Cairo, where Rick and company promptly fucked off to. Rick is all about piecing out, but Evie wants to go back and help shut that shit down. So they go their separate ways briefly. The movie introduces us to Captain Winston Havelock, who just seems like a drunk, and they need him later, so they decided to introduce him now and establish his character. I don't know. Then we see what the Dream Team, Imhotep and Benny, are up to. For half a second, I'm probably the only one who thought this, but for half a second, I thought that Arnold Vosloo was in blackface here. 'Cause it's kinda like a it's kind of a wide shot, and he's
Oh,
got this black mask on,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Oh my god, what is happening here?" But then up close, it's just some mask that he's wearing. The nerd is there too, and Imhotep finally finishes him off. This brings about another plague, and all the water turns to blood. Yummy. Then it starts raining fireballs and hail, and Rick and Evie find Imhotep mid restoration. Then a cat scares him away, and he literally sashays out of there as a dust storm. So if he can transform, why doesn't he just look normal then? If he can turn into a dust storm, can't he kind of like Sandman this thing and make himself look kind of normal?
I guess not.
Apparently not.
I was too busy wondering like why the last two guys didn't just strap a bunch of cats to them.
I was thinking like, no problem, just have a cat on you at all times. But then they retcon that later, and it's like once he's fully restored, he's
Yeah.
not scared of cats anymore or
Well,
something.
yeah, but he has to
That,
suck you dry to be fully restored.
yeah,
So,
Right.
ergo,
Phrasing.
yeah.
I would have had one of those backpacks with a cat in
Uh-huh.
it, and then both on front and back of me.
Yeah, I was just become a cat lady. You're fine.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So now we get the ancient secret society exposition, keeping the city safe for over 3,000 years. This is where they poke a hole in the cat theory. Cats only work until he's fully regenerated for movie reasons. Since Imhotep seems sweet on Evie, they reason that she's going to be his sacrifice to reanimate Ankh-Sunamun. And of course, that means Evie's now their bait. There's also a full eclipse, so another plague, darkness, that casts the land into darkness. Rick and Jonathan go to find Benny. I had a good laugh when Rick throws a chair at him. It's always a good move.
Mhm.
Under duress, Benny tells him that Imhotep wants the Book of the Dead to reanimate his slam piece, and he needs Evie too. Then there's a scream from outside. Benny gets away, and it looks like Imhotep got the American's Egyptologist and recovered another jar. Then he barfs up a bunch of bugs. Unclear if this counts as a plague. I think it's a plague of flies, maybe.
Mhm.
Also, bad practical effect here. The dead guy looks like a rubber mummy or a rubber dummy. Excuse me.
Probably
I
was.
thought that is true. They didn't get a real dead guy.
I think you could probably do a lot shooting in Morocco, but,
I don't know. I know a guy. Imhotep channels his inner DJ Khaled and takes out another one. This time in a dusty sandstorm kind of way. And now he's like 95% restored at this point. That dead guy looked more
just his
realistic too, by
cheeks.
the way. Yes, he's just got like a hole in his cheek, which then we'll get to that in a second. So this dude's busy because now he's off to see Evie. This was a very effectively gross thing, but I don't understand why he goes to kiss her when his lips are normal and then his face hole moves around to the front. I guess just to make it extra gross.
probably. It's probably just
Yeah,
to get that visceral reaction, but, maybe it requires some sort of concentration to maintain.
fair point. Yeah, fair point. And he's
So
easily distracted by her kisses, as we
he
find out,
yep, he was
as
gone.
would
He was
Yes.
gone.
any man or woman. So Rick's able to chase him off with a cat again. I hate how much Imhotep's mouth opens when he screams here. They do that in so many horror movies in like the early
Right.
2000s.
Like
Yeah,
It
where
was a
it
style
opens up
choice.
super big. Yeah, I don't know. It always just looks bad to me. It's not scary. It's dumb. The gang regroups at the Museum of Antiquities. Edie postulates that the Black Book of the Dead can bring people back to life, but maybe the Gold Book can kill them, which totally worth a shot. No complaints there. But also maybe have a look through the Black Book. You never got past the first page, right? Like what else is in there? You might find something useful.
wait, did they have it by then, or
They
did
had it.
Imhotep get it?
No, the Egyptologist had it, and so then when he got
You're
sucked
right.
dry, then
He did get the
Emotep
Black
had
Book at
it.
that
Right.
point.
Yeah.
Okay. Once again, I
Right.
stand corrected. More bad news. It looks like Imhotep has enslaved a bunch of Egyptians, and Jonathan notes that this is the last plague as they all have boils and sores all over.
Plague is that? Is that pestilence
Boils and sores.
or
It's
boils?
literally
Oh,
boils
boils.
and sores is the plague.
It's been a
Which
while
is
since Sunday school. I don't recall.
pestilence is probably shorthand for that. Yeah. Um Imhotep leads the insurrection on the museum while Evie quickly deciphers some old stone that was just conveniently there, I guess.
Right, that the guy who is undercover for the Magi, never bothered to read and said, "Hey, you guys, this is probably important." But
See, now you're coming over to our side, Blue. She's trying to find some clues as to where the Golden Book of Amun-Ra is, and just in the nick of time, she reads that it should be inside the statue of Horus. This got real bad here with the escape in the car. They all pile in a car, and they straight up run over a bunch of they run over and through a bunch of the prisoners with jobs, we'll say. So that sucks for the people who didn't ask to be roped into this. But the real issue for me was that there's like a huge crowd of people that they're driving up to, and once the car starts to drive into them, it cuts to an angle from the other side, and it's like 3 rows of people just lined up with a lot of space on either side. I don't know. It was a bad edit, bad continuity.
but that kind of
The
stuff was allowed in the 90s. Like, remember the whole Jurassic Park thing where the car flips around and then, suddenly they're on the cliff that was absolutely
Yeah.
not
Yes.
in the shot
Yes.
before?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I mean, I would complain about that too. Just because somebody else did it doesn't make it okay. So they nearly escape the prisoners with jobs. The last American, I think, gets taken out, and Imhotep becomes all the way realived. Then they get surrounded, and Imhotep takes Evie, and because he has to take her to Hamunaptra to perform the ritual, they take off. It's not something you can just do anywhere, so got to go to Hamunaptra.
Emotep did promise to leave her friends alone,
Yes, but
or
then
was it the?
did
I
he?
think Benny promised it. Yeah, I don't think Emotep did. I think Benny
Benny was translating, though.
promised it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I mean, like he kind of did, right? Well, no, I guess he still let the prisoners with jobs go after them. Benny takes the Hellraiser key, and Imhotep tells him his prisoners with jobs tells his I'm going to say slaves. I was trying to keep the joke going, but he tells the slaves to kill them all. And luckily, these guys are running on turtle time, even though they were sprinting practically earlier on. So they super slowly close in. Everyone except the museum curator dude escapes down a manhole. I feel like he could have made it, but he doesn't.
He totally could have made it.
Right? Okay. He doesn't. And none of the prisoners fall through the manhole either, which they should have had that happen just on accident. And then
Yeah.
that would have kind of blocked it, and then that guy couldn't have escaped, right? And actually, in the commentary by Brendan Fraser here, he says that there were stunt guys in the crowd making sure that nobody else fell in the manhole. I was like, but they cut away. Like, why is there even a hole there for that shot once they've cut away?
That's where they decided to go with the continuity.
Yeah. Okay. I guess bonus points. So Rick, Jonathan, and Ardith go to the Royal Air Force Base in Giza to recruit Captain Winston Havelock that they established earlier. He flies everyone in his biplane across the desert, notably past a big sand tornado. And after they fly by it, Evie and Benny get spit out of the tornado, and then it calms down to become Imhotep again. Did you were complaining about this, George?
No, I was saying it. I was just being facetious about some of the magic stuff that we were having problems with. I was saying interesting form of transportation.
Yeah.
Mm.
Seems like you'd get sand in every crack.
Yeah.
So they
I would hate it personally.
my problem was that they landed pretty far from Hamunaptra still. Like, why didn't he just go all the way? I don't know. I don't understand it.
That's
So
when
they
he
see,
noticed the plane. Maybe after he crashed the plane, he picked them back up, and they went that last little bit.
yeah, I guess so. They did get there pretty quick after the plane crash. So yeah, so they see the plane and know that it's Rick. So Imhotep blows up a huge dust storm. I thought the world, like, also when he was coming over in the whirlwind, but that and the dust storm looked really good. Like 1999
Yeah.
CGI dirt, good stuff. Can't complain. Even the face in the dust storm looked pretty good.
Mhm.
I thought that looked really cool. I remember going like, wow.
And although I hated that Rick was wasting ammo on it. That was stupid.
That's what an action hero does. You have a gun, you shoot at the thing.
I guess it's Chekhov's gun, right? Can't have it and not shoot it.
Right.
I was also getting mad at Evie for not
Is that a real term?
Chekhov's gun. It's a
Yeah.
real term that I've used multiple times on this show.
No, I know, but like I haven't like actually like double checked if it was
It's not
actually
it's not
that's what
Star
it meant.
Trek Chekhov. But It's, I don't know, Blue, you'd probably know what the,
Uh,
origin is.
Chekhov's.
The trope, the
Yeah.
origin.
It's some writer named Chekhov, I believe, who his the whole thing was like, if you show a gun in the first act, it needs to be used in the third act. Is
Mm,
essentially what it boils down to.
yeah. Yep, that's what it is, Chekhov's gun.
But I to be fair to you, George, I guess I usually say something like Chekhov's tornado or what, like something that like they show at one point, like that better come back later. Where was I? I was getting mad at Evie for not doing anything to try to stop Imhotep other than saying stop it. But I was thinking
She
she could
did.
at least kick him in the balls or something. But then she kisses him, and that works. Pretty smart.
There's no guarantee kicking him in the balls was gonna
Exactly.
work.
He might not even have restored his balls yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So the plane still crashes, but Rick, Jonathan, and Smoldering Hottie are all okay. Well, Winston is dead, but he looks like he died happy. And then I think this is the dumbest thing in the movie. The this is totally
The tiny, tiny sands.
yes, the plane sinks into like a 3-foot radius bit of quicksand in the desert. There's no quicksand in the desert. If they had said lightning sand, I would have bought it because that's Princess Bride. That's established precedent. I would have gone with that. But it was so like, yeah, no quicksand in the desert. Why is it only 3 feet wide? That was stupid.
Yeah.
Didn't need to
No.
happen.
I mean,
Nothing.
I'll give you this and that whole character of Winston, there's 1,000 other ways they could have accomplished just getting the characters from point A to point B. There's no other reason for this guy to be there. He's a tiny bit of comic relief, so there must be something else. He's an homage to somebody or a nod to somebody.
Probably, yeah.
That's the only reason for him to be there. And so, fittingly, for whatever he's supposed to pay tribute to, had to go down in a blaze of glory.
I'm wondering now if maybe there was a cut scene, which if there was, why would you have cut this? But I'm wondering if it wasn't quicksand, if where they crashed happened to be another entrance to the tombs. They never show how Rick and Jonathan and Ardeth get in. And so maybe if like
There was probably
it
a
was an
front
entrance that
door,
was
right?
covered. Yeah, but that's how
Yeah.
Imhotep and Evie got in and Benny.
Could they
So
not
they
just
go in
go
a different
behind him?
entrance. But then they're trying to dig through rubble later to get to where I'm pretty sure it's a different entrance. I like my
Alright.
theory, Blue.
I
What if they
well,
went in
because
and Emotep, like, closed the door afterwards, like, blew it
All
up?
right, fine.
didn't they get in through the trap door that, like, Evie accidentally opened up when she was
I
leaning
don't know. Maybe all I know
against something?
from my recollection is that the next scene is Imhotep and Evie and Benny doing one thing, and Rick and Jonathan and Ardeth are like trying to dig through some rubble, and that's where
The, put your back into
yeah,
Mhm.
it. Yeah, get that stone up
that's
there.
pretty great. And then
Yeah, I like that.
after Jonathan stops managing, he starts pulling scarabs off the wall, right? And then he gets the scarab on his arm. Pretty gnarly when Rick cuts it out, and he throws it down and shoots it, right?
Mhm.
And
Yep,
then
and pretty badass when he
yeah,
shoots it.
and then that's when that tips off Imhotep that they didn't die and that they're in there. So he sends some mummified servants to take care of those meddlesome men, as well as to quote unquote wake the others. That's not a good sign. There's another dumb mirror here. There's another dumb mirror thing here where Rick shoots a mirror and it goes exactly into place, and
He's
then it
just that good.
does the stupid light up thing. That's
Yeah.
if it wasn't the stupid light up thing, I think I would have been like, "Cool, Rick."
You didn't get the hint when he one-shotted
That's
that
a good
tiny
point.
little
Yeah,
scarab?
but the mirror had to like swivel just the right amount. I don't know. Okay, I could buy that Rick could shoot it that well. I still didn't like how it lights up
Yeah.
sequentially. But again, it's the magic. The magic of the
Mhm.
place is causing that. Okay, all problems solved. They're in a room full of riches, but there's no time to marvel at all the wonders because the priest mummies start popping up from all over. And everybody starts blasting. They find the horror statue, and within they find the book of Amun Ra, the locked book of Amun Ra, I should say. And meanwhile, Benny tries to make off with some treasure. This bothered me too. Ardeth says, "Save the girl, kill the creature," and then he goes charging into a whole crowd of the priest mummies. Right?
Mhm.
He had them at a choke point. It was a perfectly good spot to defend. There was no reason for him to go running in there, other than to make writing the rest of the script easier.
There you go. There you go. And apparently he really was meant to die But then
Right. Yeah.
Steven Summers said
Really?
he's far too handsome and I want him in the sequel, so he has to
Yep.
live somehow.
And
Oh,
I wanted him to
wow.
live too. So
We
I'm not
all
mad about
did, so nobody's
I'm not
complaining.
mad that he
Yes.
somehow managed to make it through there.
Right.
I will gladly overlook that error. Although haven't seen the sequels. I've heard they're bad.
You might
Yeah.
not want to, especially the
Oh my
third
god,
one.
Maybe
no.
Stay away from the
The
third
maybe
third
one.
one's
just
a
watch the
dumpster
parts with Oded
fire.
Fair.
Yeah, the second one has more super handsome Oded Fair, so
All right.
Whatever you do, don't watch the third one.
Okay. You
even
don't have
Rachel
to
Weisz
twist my
didn't
arm
come
not
back for
to.
the third one. She said, "No, I hate it."
Did anybody come back for the third one?
Brendan Fraser did.
Besides
And
Arnold Vosloo?
what's his name? Hannah, who plays Jonathan.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess he's not doing a whole lot. Imhotep begins the ritual with Evie strapped down next to the mummified corpse of Ankh-Sunamun. There's a lot of screaming involved. He's about to seal the deal when Jonathan comes in with the golden book of Amun-Ra, and instead of finishing the ritual, Imhotep stops because the plot must go on.
Mm-hmm.
Rick saves Evie, taking out a bunch of mummies in the process. I thought the effects here were really good, except again, I hate how much the soldier mummies' mouths open when they scream. It's too goofy for me.
I do like when Brendan Fraser screams back at
Yeah.
them.
Yes, that was pretty funny. Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Yeah.
I got a little bit bored with all the chasing and fighting. I thought it went on a little too long. And I guess this goes with the slapstickiness and I should let it slide. But there's at one point, there's a mummy with no eyes, right? The mummies don't have eyes. And he gets his head knocked off or taken off by Rick in some manner. And then he's fumbling around like he can't see. But it's like, you didn't have any eyes. How were you seeing before? I don't know. That bothered me.
Well, the severed hand was reaching for the sword at one point.
Exactly. You're just proving a
Remember?
point. Yeah. And then also, if cutting the head off of that one didn't kill it, how is he killing these other mummies? Because he's just like slicing them up with a
That's
sword, and
part of it. You can only really kill them with that spell from the book.
that's true. Oh, so yeah, I guess maybe they're just disabled. If they
Yeah,
get chopped in
you're just
half, they're
hacking
not
them to
really
pieces so they can't do anything, but
Yeah.
they're not
okay.
dead.
That's fair. That's fair. See if I invite you on my show again. Where was I? Jonathan is able to eventually transcribe and read an inscription conveniently written on the Golden Book's cover that stops the soldiers, and then he commands them to destroy Ankh-Sunamun. This was a good payoff. Way earlier on, when Jonathan had pickpocketed Rick, they kind of established that, right? Did he also do it to somebody on the boat? I forget.
Well, because the Magi, when they attack the boat, they take the box, and then the Magi guy who has the box is going after Jonathan, but then he swipes it back.
Right, right. So they established that he's a pretty good pickpocket, and he gets grabbed by the throat by Imhotep, who picks him up. Rick chops off that arm on Imhotep, and Jonathan gets away. And now he has the key because he pickpocketed it. And then actually, it was funny because Brendan Fraser pointed out that he must have been a loincloth pickpocket. where was that key
We don't
stored?
need to
That's
ask
right.
where he was holding it.
Had the key in his prison wallet. So
Impressive he gets the finger in there and he wouldn't notice.
then he gets the book open, reads the magic words, getting every single tiny syllable correct. And some ghost horse and chariot comes through and steals his soul or something, steals Imhotep's soul. That makes him mortal, and Rick stabs him through the gut. Then he stumbles into a pool of water where he remummifies for some reason. In the commentary, I think they were just like, we wanted more to happen. I was like, okay. Yeah.
You gotta-
Extra
We
special
had more
effects
in the
budget
budget.
that needed
We
to
had
be.
more in the budget.
The big bad has to have an epic death.
Yeah. I thought it was cool, though, that it just made him mortal and stabbed him. I mean, I didn't really have a problem with him falling in the pool and all the weird stuff happening, but I like that they dispatched of him in that manner. So Benny, being greedy, goes back for more treasure and accidentally sets off a booby trap. Everyone makes it out except for Benny, who gets locked inside and eaten by scarabs. I like the "so long, Benny" line. That's good. So does he come back?
Yeah.
Is he still alive? Does he come
No,
back in the sequels?
he's dead.
No.
Okay. Because I feel like they would have wanted to bring him back and would have come up with a dumb reason for him to have gotten out.
If you ever watch the second one, you'll see they had to come up with a lot of dumb reasons to
You might be
keep the
talking me
story
into it.
going.
I might give it a hate watch. And then, and Rachel Weisz is in it. Maybe I'll pick it for my next
Mhm. I mean, that's
my
the thing
next
is because
MCU
it's
Adjacent.
still most of the whole gorgeous cast decided to come back, and the movie,
Mhm.
it maintains the spirit of the first one.
Is it really long? That's probably gonna be the make or
Oh,
break for me. Because if
Um,
it's really long and
I don't think
dumb,
it's
that's gonna
really,
be
really
difficult.
long, but
Okay.
it's like you gotta
yeah.
just not bother saying, "Well, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't
Right.
make
And
sense.
if
That
you
doesn't make sense."
I thought you were gonna say you gotta turn off your brain, and I was like, "No, I can't do that."
Did they have a kid by the
Yeah,
second one? I don't remember if
and
the
he's
second.
annoying, and
They have
sadly,
a kid in the second movie?
because they got married and then they have a
Yeah.
kid, and
Yeah.
I'm
unfortunately,
out.
he doesn't
I'm
die.
out. Yeah.
I was rooting for it the whole time, but
Like,
Uh, that would have been a good use for one of the plagues, actually. Um, so, where was I? Then all of Hamunaptra explodes and folds over on itself or something. I thought that was weird and unnecessary. Like,
but it's very Indiana Jones. Because all you do is you touched the wrong lever or the wrong tile, and it was a booby trap, and the whole place comes down.
I don't have a problem with the whole thing collapsing. It was that it kind of like exploded and then was like doing these weird, like the spirit of the mummy was folding it up. I don't know. It looks weird to me. It was a bit too much.
like it exploded, then
Yeah.
imploded for
Yes.
whatever
It was
reason.
kind of like that.
Yeah.
Right. So I would never say anything bad about the first Indiana Jones movie anyway. In the aftermath, of course, the only Indiana Jones movie, I think. Now the third one's pretty good. In the aftermath, of course, Hadi McHutterson made it out and he's fine. We all wanted him to make it out. He's all respect and gratitude and not at all pissed about all the guys that he lost. But I guess he could be glad that he doesn't have to watch over this place anymore.
Yeah.
He's a very forgiving guy, given that Rick and his friends have killed a lot of his buddies.
Yeah, exactly. What's it gonna do now, though? I guess we'll find out in the sequel.
Whatever.
I
Maybe
was I was gonna say
he can finally go do that Chippendale dancer career he's always wanted.
I was gonna say he'd make a wonderful Dread Pirate Roberts, but that's a better one.
Understood that reference.
Of course, Rick and Evie make out, and I wanted that to happen too. But I guess if it leads to a kid in the second movie, I don't want that to happen.
Unfortunately,
Then
it tends to.
they
Too late.
they ride their camels out of the desert. The end. No stingers. Which I don't. I was gonna say I don't think stingers had been invented yet, but then I actually looked into it. I didn't really think that, but so when were stingers invented? Any guesses when the first stinger was? I'll give you a hint. It's a Dean Martin movie.
Wow.
Yeah,
So it's been around for a
yeah,
while.
1966. The
So they
Silencers.
just was it probably the MCU that made them commonplace?
I think so. I mean, I've definitely seen them in other movies before that, but it's almost a given in the
Now.
MCU. And if an MCU movie doesn't have it, you're like, what the fuck?
And everybody's pissed they sat through the credits for no
Yes.
goddamn reason.
That's the best one though, is at the end of I think the first was it Spider-Man Homecoming, where you sit through the whole thing and it's Chris Evans going like, sometimes you wait a long time for something and it's just not worth it. Anyways, so that takes us to changes we'd like to have seen. Blue, do you want to go first? Do you even have changes, or is this a perfect movie for you?
I'm gonna say I don't have a lot of changes. I mean, there are some scenes in the movie, like we talked about with Captain Winston, and with the slapstick in the library at the very beginning, that I think are weaker,
Yeah.
but I don't think they are a detriment to the movie overall. And I think so quite a bit of the charm in the movie is that its heart covers up and is greater than the sum of its individual parts. So while there might be some rough around the edges parts or some um, allotments that you have to make as far as the logic of this or that, overall, I think this, for me personally, is about it's one of the few movies that I can just watch and love every single time with no complaint.
I will say that I liked it more each time I watched it. So
And
there's room to grow, maybe.
yeah, my sisters and it's super quotable. We quote it to this day. Like the part where the Americans are all gonna open the box and Benny's like, "The curse, beware the
Yeah,
curse." I mean, we use that in
yeah.
our Discord even.
Now I get it.
Mhm.
George, you want to go on changes?
Uh, I also don't have too many. I think if I were to nitpick, Captain Winston would probably be the biggest change I would make. Um, it's just a really good, fun movie for me. I enjoy watching it. I don't go out of my way to watch it all the time because I've watched it enough times. But yeah, if I'm doing dishes and I feel like reliving something or rewatching something, it's not that far on the list of movies I wouldn't mind rewatching.
Mhm.
It's just fun.
I'll rewatch with my kids someday.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised I didn't have the thing about Winston in my extensive list of changes.
Settle in then.
uh, I mean, it mostly boils down to drop the unnecessary bullshit. I believe you covered a lot of that. And the quicksand, I think I would have liked to seen them make use of that quicksand thing, and like it wasn't really quicksand. That was how they got in, but um. And then I didn't like the way Hamanatra exploded and then imploded. The manhole cover scene could use a tweak. But I wish they had gone for an R rating. I don't think it would be as popular. So it's kind of like,
Isn't that what Tom Cruise tried to do?
is that one R? I didn't think it was. Is it R? Because it doesn't seem like an R movie.
I thought it
I'm
was
gonna Google
R.
that real quick.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
that's the conventional wisdom for decades in Hollywood is if you make it an R rating, it's not gonna make as much money. So,
it's PG-13.
yeah.
Was
Yep.
PG-13? Okay.
Yeah.
So no reason to watch it. So I guess that takes us to ratings. The Rotten Tomatoes scores is I'm surprised it's this low with the critics. And don't get me wrong, I did complain about it, but 62% with all critics, 50% with top critics. I would have expected more like 62 with the top critics and maybe upwards of 70 with the critics. But I don't know. I don't
Mhm.
know what the
Really?
problem was. With the audience, it's 75% with an average score of 3.8 out of 5. There was no distinction between all and verified audience.
Mhm.
So I think we should talk tiers first. So we do S through F tier, blue. I really enjoyed the first half more than the second. And at the start, I was thinking that this is an A tier movie, or high B at least. But by the end, I was kind of thinking low C. The first time I watched it all the way through. Definitely not D. So also, I should preface this: when we say C, C is average. C is not bad. Okay, so like, don't get upset with the C. All right? But anyways, after having watched it with all the commentaries and everything, and certainly after discussing it with you guys, like it might be a B. Kind of want to hear what you guys have to say about it before I settle in on something. Because like when I wasn't paying as close attention to all the details, it was a little more fun and the goofiness was more acceptable. So I don't know. What do you guys think for a tier before we get to a score?
Go for it, Blue. I'm curious to see if our nitpickiness has ruined it at all.
No, honestly, I have uh, many films in my past that I loved initially when I watched them, and I can never go back. I can never go back and watch them because I often say that film school ruined me, ruined my
Hmm.
ability to enjoy movies. But I saw this before I went to film school. So there is a strong nostalgia component for me, but also pleasantly when I go back and watch it, like I watched it just a few days ago, just to as a refresher to come on here, and it was just as like good as I remembered. Like it's not perfect, but as I said, the sum of its parts come together to create something that has managed to stand the test of time. And so for that reason, it's still good and it still got past my ruined film school brain. I'm gonna give it an S tier.
I'm not surprised actually. All right, S for blue. All right, George, what about you?
Yeah. I think going into this, it was always B tier for me, and it hasn't really changed in terms of how much I like it. I sort of thought that during this discussion, it would drop to like a B minus or high C. Uh, but despite all of its issues, I still really like this movie. Um, it's totally different from, I think, when you and I sometimes talk about certain movies like Black Panther, for example, where I really, 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 really loved it when I saw it, and then like when we start nitpicking about stuff, it kind of brings it down. But this one, like, I don't know if it's just, I don't know what it is about this movie. It just stayed at the straight B for me. So
All right.
I'm gonna go with B.
I think I'm going to join you in that B. I feel like it is better than average, but just barely. Uh,
Well, I
So not even a B minus for
I
you?
don't want to deal with pluses and minuses, and
and I'll
it's too
also,
much.
I'll give it some more credit because in my opinion, this was the last great era of filmmaking before everything became just CGI overkill. And which is where we still are at.
Yeah, this was also actually filmed, right? Like on film. It
Right.
wasn't,
Right.
and so everything's kind of digital now too.
Practical effects.
You mean a nanotech sandstorm wouldn't have been so cool?
This was back when you could tell it, technically it's a remake, but it's not like we would see today. Where everything is a continuation of an IP. This was um it was The Mummy, but it was in the spirit of something that was new and original, practical effects, filmed on film.
Well, if you're remaking something from 1933, I think it
Right.
was, I mean, there's a lot of room for improvement for sure.
Mhm.
So
And I'm not
when you when
surprised.
you when you remake in 2017, when you remake something from 1999, not so much.
Yeah. And I'm not surprised to see that the critics didn't like it because, like we talked about already, this was a banner year for movies, very, artsy, cerebral stuff. So they're like,
Yeah,
oh, well, this is an
there's a lot
adventure
of
movie.
competition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't
Okay.
like it.
So if you had to give it a rating, um, for me, I'm kind of torn between a 6 and a 7. So I'm going to go 6.5. I feel like 6 is too low, 7 is too high. I'm going to say 6.5 out of 10 plagues is the unit we'll be using for this one. And what about you, Blue?
I will give it a 9.7 plagues.
That's S tier, 9.7. Okay.
Mm. I
Not
fully admit,
9.8.
there's point 0.3 plagues worth of improvement that could have been made. But then again, if it didn't have kind of the charm of its faults, maybe we wouldn't love it so much.
I should also say, I think that this is why I like to do a tier and a rating, because they don't necessarily have to be like completely
The
in sync.
same.
Like if you said S tier and it's a 5 out of 10, that wouldn't make sense, right? But I understand your ratings here. What about you, George?
At 8.
Mm,
8 out of
and
10.
that's a B? Oh, again, all right. I guess I did just say.
Yeah.
All right.
Now you coming after mine?
George, you're not making any sense. Okay. So I have prepared. Oh, before I forget, I always forget this part. Do you recommend it? I think that's a yes on everyone's account, right?
Yes.
All right. I prepared a mummy quiz, the mummy quiz.
I'm gonna bomb this
Yeah.
one.
So a couple of them Blue already said, but I want to see how well George was paying attention here. So we'll read them. We'll read them anyway. So this movie, The Mummy, was remade in 2017 and is terrible. Don't watch it. But this 1999 version was also a remake of a 1932 movie. It was 1932, not 33. George, what is the full title of the 1932 version of this movie?
It wasn't The Mummy?
It was The Mummy. It was a trick question. It
Oh,
was supposed
okay. I see how this trivia is gonna go.
it was supposed to be easy. It was supposed to make you guys feel good.
Okay.
All right.
You had me doubting it. Doubting
Okay, this is the one that Blue stepped on as well, but I don't think I was thinking about changing it up, but I don't think you guys would be able to guess the other part of it. Okay, so this updated version of The Mummy began production back in the 1980s and had multiple classic horror directors, writers, had multiple classic horror writers and directors attached at various times, including Clive Barker, Mick Garris, Joe Dante, and what other pioneer of the horror film genre?
George
All right, you were
Romero.
paying attention. I was
I mean, how do you even mention George Romero to like anybody that loves
I was going to
zombies?
try to
And
reword it and like leave out Mick Garris or Joe Dante, but I don't know.
You
Like,
don't just
I
forget
know who
George
they
Romero.
are. Yeah.
yeah, or Clive Barker,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
All right. So, question the third. In the 1999 version we just covered, according to Jonathan Carnahan, the boils and sores were the last of the plagues. How many of the 10 plagues are actually shown on screen?
9.
I forgot to have people buzz in, but I guess you can both guess on this one. I'll tell you who was right or if you were both wrong.
I mean, the only one I know for sure I didn't see was the firstborn
Okay.
dying.
Why don't you guys name
But
10
nobody had
plagues
any
that were in
kids.
this movie then?
I don't remember.
Or
I
the,
just
or the 9.
remember the one like George said, they're not killing the firstborn, so 9
The
process of elimination?
all right. It is 6. Locusts, hail and fire,
Right.
blood, darkness, flies, boils and sores. Not
What are the
shown
other 3?
frogs, lice, beasts of burden and livestock. That's just if they
Mm,
all die, and firstborn sons all dying.
Yeah.
fair enough.
Because I was counting them as I was
Of
going. I
course
was like,
you'd be
wait, does this
counting
one?
them. I'm just
I was
like,
like,
good enough.
is hail and fire 2 or is that just 1? And then like by the end, I was like, oh, I need some questions to ask at the end, so I'll save this.
That's right. I missed frogs being totally separate from like the locusts and
And to
stuff.
be fair, lice could have been on screen, I guess, and we just didn't know it. Was anybody scratching at their head?
Lice was a separate one?
Yeah, frogs, lice.
I
No.
mean,
Beast
that
of burden.
mob looked like they completely could have had lice.
Yeah. And frogs in their
Probably.
pockets.
Yeah, see?
This next one comes from the Brendan Fraser commentary. According to him, what was painted white and used for the hail in the plague of hail and fire? And I have a hint if and nobody has a guess.
Rocks?
Not a bad guess. One's best friend might find this interesting.
One's best friend
Yes.
might find this interesting.
Like a person's best friend, man's best friend. Is that a little more?
Oh, tennis balls?
No, but I like where your mind is going there. The dog food. They took dog food pellets and painted them white.
Oh, dog food.
Oh, okay.
From the director commentary, Fort Bryden is not a real place, but named for Sam Neill's character, Colonel Bryden, in what movie? Also written and directed by Stephen Sommers. And I have a hint on that too, if nobody has a guess.
He didn't do Event Horizon, did he?
No, that's Paul W.S. Anderson.
Okay.
Great movie though.
Paul Anderson did that movie?
Yeah,
I think so, yes. Yeah. Paul. It's is it Paul? It's something W.S. Anderson. It's because there's 2 Paul Andersons, right? I think there's 2 of them,
Yeah,
and one of them
I
has
guess
initials
so.
and the other one doesn't. Anyways, would you like a hint?
Sure.
It's an adaptation of a Rudyard Kipling children's book, and it's therefore
That
still a
hint
children's movie.
didn't help me.
Okay, there's Paul W.S. Anderson that we all know and love, and then there's Paul Thomas Anderson.
That's what. Yes, that was the confusion. Yeah, who did like Jesus? He did.
There Will Be
Didn't he do
Blood.
There Will Be Blood? Yeah,
Yep.
that's a great movie. The answer is The Jungle Book. The Jungle
Oh,
Book.
because if
All
I
right, last.
recall correctly, that was the movie that got him the job.
Yeah, I think he did that right before this. That's right.
Mhm.
Oh no, he did Deep Rising right before this, which is a great movie.
Yep.
So last one, before casting Brendan. Oh, this is one that Blue stepped on as well. But I can reword this one. Okay, before casting Brendan Fraser, I don't have to reword it. We're good. We'll keep going with it. It'll just be a little bit easier. Before casting Brendan Fraser as the part of Rick O'Connell, the role was offered to multiple actors. Which one of the following was not on the list of potential Ricks? Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Tom Cruise, Nicolas Cage, or Brad Pitt?
Now I want a version with Nicolas Cage.
Right?
Nicolas Cage made every movie in that time period better.
And still to this day.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. Fair point.
Any guesses is multiple choice. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Tom Cruise, Nicolas Cage, or Brad Pitt? We know it's not Tom Cruise. Blue already spoiled that.
I was gonna say, what was it? What was the question? Who was
Who
not
was not
considered
considered?
Brad Pitt.
besides Tom Cruise? Like Brad Pitt. Yeah, I was gonna say Brad Pitt's the
All right,
only one that
you're agreeing on
doesn't seem to fit.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
It was Nicolas Cage, the only one we actually want to be in the movie. Yep,
Maybe he was too busy doing National Treasure.
maybe. So
Because that was sort of around the same time, wasn't it? Or was
No,
it
it's got to
later?
be way
I think it was
later.
later. Yeah.
Way later? Oh, okay.
So that's it for The Mummy. But next for series 2, George, you have a guessing game now. You can jump in on this too if you want, Blue. He's going to drop some hints on what his next pick is.
I'm torn. I'm torn between this one, and I don't know that I can do a really good. I don't know that my hints are.
That's right. My hits sucked
too
last time.
obvious.
I was being way too convoluted.
Because I mean, all right. I'm gonna go. I'll go with my original one. Pills that make you so much smarter.
I'm gonna say brainless. Limitless. Limitless.
You got the less part.
Yeah. You're gonna make me watch Limitless now, huh? Okay. It better be better than Lucy. Was that it? Is it?
Yeah, it's better than Lucy.
Is it Limitless? Okay.
Yeah, it was. It was that, or I was trying. I really wanted to do Sinners too, also. But like, I feel like Sinners is so recent.
Yeah.
Sinners
Sinners
is
was
so
so
good.
It is
And
good.
Limitless, I fell asleep 2/3 through. So.
Oh no!
I've never seen
Blue.
it.
You set the table.
I've never seen it. I have seen Sinners. Sinners is good. Maybe one day we will get to that.
Sinners was. I do want to get to Sinners, but I want to give it a little bit more
A
time.
little more breathing room on that. Yeah.
But Sinners was
Plus,
so
everybody's
good.
covered it in the last month. So
Yep.
yeah. Okay. That's it for The Mummy. Next episode, we should have a quick take for Fantastic Four First Steps. I'd like to thank you, Blue, for being our guest. And do you want to tell the people where they can find you? Because everybody should want to hear more from you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. This was fun. You can find me on the Gamers Week podcast, new episodes every Friday. Or if you prefer, you can watch us on Twitch on Wednesday evenings where we do the live show and then release it audio only on
That's
Friday.
a lot of fun, by the way.
It's a really fun show.
If you can take the time, do it. I mean, it's like an hour, right? Hour and a half, maybe?
Yeah, usually about an hour and a half. Zach is often present, at least long enough to do when we cover his weekly trivia question for you guys.
It's not just for that. I am very busy. I'm sorry.
I understand.
I do like to show up and try to distract RGB. So.
Mm-hmm. And that is a worthy cause that I support 100%. So, yeah, but find Gamers Week podcast on all the major podcast platforms.
I'll put a link in the show notes too.
And Discord.
And Discord.
You got to be a patron to be on the Discord, right?
Patron only Discord. So that is a low key promo. Join our Patreon, and then you can get access to the Discord.
While you're at it, join ours. If you want to contact,
You don't like just talking to me, Zach?
that was great. There's a few people on there. I meant join our Patreon, but also join our Discord. Anyways, if you want to contact us, you can email us at absolutelythebestpodcast@gmail.com. Join our Discord. There's a link in the show notes. And we have links there to our socials and a couple ways you can help support the show. Please leave us a review and help us spread the word. Tell your friends, tell a mummy, and tell your friend's mummy. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks so much, Blue.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Absolutely the Best Podcast is a production of Audio Johnny, a subsidy of Corporation Johnny. Corporation Johnny. If it exists, we own it.
The map! I forgot the map!
Relax. I'm the map.
It's all up here.
Oh, that's comforting.
I gotta find what I did with my notes. It's in one of these windows. There it is.
Hello, Blue.
Yeah, Blue, George
I'm
Blue.
so sorry.
Hi, George. Nice to meet you.
Hello. Ditto. Same. I'm so sorry. This is not the best first impression being this late.
It's fine. Our show almost always has some sort of technical difficulty that makes us start late, so.
That's true.
But see, this was like this is like the first time I've ever been actually late.
I think
But
so.
then I
think so. Can confirm.
I should have factored in. You can't. I should have. I mean, we were with my in-laws and they were across town, and I misjudged the traffic on the way.
I thought you were with your parents, and I was like, "Can't you just tell them that you're leaving?" But different story.
Different story.
Yeah.
Yes. It would have been easier for me, yes, if I was.
George, I would normally say we should chat for a bit, but I do not have time now. At some point we got to talk about.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. At some point we got to talk about the Alien
Superman.
That too, but I haven't seen it yet. Hopefully this week, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get to it. But we got to talk about what we're going to do for the Alien series. Like, are we going to include the Predator and the AVP movies, or just the Aliens, and then those other ones will be adjacent? So I don't know. Think about it. I think I'm in favor of doing it all. I think it's like 15 movies total. That's not that many, but
I'm down.
Only 15 movies total. Not that many.
Well, it's less than the MCU. We're at
You
30,
guys are machines. Holy cow.
Well, we only do it every other week too. So, all right. Thanks again, Blue.
Yep.
I will.
Thanks so much.
Probably nag you on Discord very soon. No, you'll be nagging me on Discord in a couple of days.
Yep.
Damn it.
Like clockwork.
I'll send you a link though to upload your local in case I need it.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you guys.
See you guys later.
All
right.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, one more thing real quick.
Yeah.
Leave your browser open for like 10 minutes if you can, because it's just to make sure that it finishes uploading.
Okay.
Because it's uploading constantly as we go.
I shan't touch it.
But if you shut it off right away, it's like, oh, I didn't finish uploading.
Do I need to stay in this room or can I leave?
No. Leave your
It'll tell you.
Just give me control over your keyboard.
Sure. Sounds legit.
You can just don't close the browser. It should be fine.
Okay. All right.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Right.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.